said I need my 40. Pull up to the party. Gassed up, shawty.
Okay, what is going on, everybody? We're back here, and today is finally the day that they finally changed the ADS times in this game. We've wanted this before, but I think it was something that they didn't want to do, or something that it was something in that article they said like they wasn't going to do it or something like that. But they finally, I guess, changed their minds, because we're going to be getting an update technically today by the time you're watching this. So I'm ahead of time this time for the update. It's going to be sprint out times update and what changes. So before we jump into the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn post notifications on. But jumping right into it, I'm gonna be going over all this stuff that's gonna be changed, and starting off with SMGs. It says buff base ADS time and buff ADS in from sprint times. ADS sprint out times match ADS from sprint times. For the rifles, they buffed base ADS transition times, but not ADS from sprint times / ADS sprint out times, in an effort to maintain a difference between SMGs and AR class playstyles. So they kind of did change some of these where they wasn't the same, but they still kind of changed the ADS transition on some of them. But for the snipers, which are the Car 98K and the M1903, they nerfed the ADS transition time. I guess a slight QUICKSCOPING nerf. That's what it says right here in quotations. Not quotation, but in parentheses. But for the LMGs, they buff base ADS times. It says note, base ADS times for SMGs are faster than rifles, and rifles are faster than LMGs. In other words, there are now more of a distinction between class playlists. So overall, I see like a change with all of these, that they're kind of just making the play styles with each class a little bit, I guess, different, I guess you could say. But moving into the weapons, we got the MP40 starting off, which they buffed the recoil in effort to have a more competitive SMG on par with the PPSH. The FG42 got nerfed again. It says nerfed fire rate so that the damage output is more in line with other weapons in its class. They then nerfed the FG42 again. But for the SVT40, they buffed the recoil in effort to make it more competitive to shoot down range and give it a better contrast to the M1 Grand. And it says nerfed hit spread to match the M1 Grands in an effort to decrease the ability to quickly kill opponents at a closer range. And the M1A1, they buffed the fire rate in an effort to make it more competitive choice amongst the other rifles, still slightly slower than the GUR 43. And the GUR has a buff. It says buff fire rate in the effort to make it more competitive choice amongst the other rifles, still slightly faster than the M1A1. It buffed the recoil closer to that of the M1A1, and buffed the clip size to 12 rounds per clip instead of 10. And the M30 Luft Waffe drilling or something like that. I think that's a shotgun, because I remember that was in that class. But it says buff damage per pellet to be on par with the recent sawed-off shotgun changes, so that the shotguns has a more automatic 2-shot kill and a slightly more forgiving 1-shot kill. It buffed shotgun damage range so that it's now more feasible to finish off an opponent who didn't die from the rifle bullet. They buff ADS spread to allow for greater accuracy when shooting enemies that are outside the obvious shotgun range while aiming down sights. And the toggle action is last, and it says buff clip size to 8 shots per clip instead of 6 in the effort to allow players to have more success with this weapon. And nerfed the ADS spread to be on par with other shotguns besides the M30. So out of that, everything that has changes in that list. So I talked about everything. First time I'm actually doing it on the same day that they change something, because usually I'm a little bit behind. But that should be everything. It's finally good that they finally listened to us and changed the ADS times, because we've been wanting this for a long time. So now they're finally doing it. But hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, and tell your friends about the channel. Bro's channel, go check it out. But other than that, it's been your boy Dre, Whoisforeign, and I am out. Peace.